because he'll be the points leader.
Alan, how about Johnson?
Just so the 26 car bobbles a little bit, gets a little loose when Biffle gets right on the tail.
How about Johnson? He's probably catching his breath from seeing that. Just something to look ahead as we get to the later stages of this race. Jimmy Johnson and his team want to find some way, any way, to be leading off of pit road at the last pit stop. They feel like the guy that's in front from the last pit stop to the checkered flag is going to be the winner of this race. Watch for Jimmy's team to work very hard between now and the next pit stop, which won't be the last one, to try and get his car close to the front so they can let the pit crew try and steal that track position on the final stop. Dave?
That 2 car of Kurt Busch trying to move up through the pack. He's found something in the handling that he needs to have here today. And car is just a little bit loose. It needs to be that way to run fast. Kurt finished second in this race last year. He runs Daytona very well, and it stays up in the front of this pack.
And look who's behind him in that 55 car. Michael Waltrip, the 2-time Daytona 500 winner, Matt.
Bill, he was just hanging out in the back for a good portion of this race. They've made some adjustments over the past couple stops. First he was tight and then he was loose, but he wanted just to hang in the back, let things settle down, and now he's making his move to the front as well. Great run for the Napa Chevy, currently 10th.
I'd say the race is officially underway, BP. They got 63 to go. If trouble breaks out, we'll break in. Mark Martin leads at Daytona. 60 laps to go, and they have been side by side here at Daytona, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. finally breaks in front of Mark Martin. Take a look at our DLT lap leaders. 24 lead changes among 16 drivers. The 16 drivers, a track record. Matt Kenseth has led the most laps, but that won't be happening anymore. He's 2 laps down after an incident with Tony Stewart and then a penalty for not listening to NASCAR and being a nice boy.
I tell you what, I was impressed with the job that Dale Earnhardt Jr. 8 car did, using the 25 car of Brian Vickers to get by Mark Martin. He moved out, helped, tried to get him up closer to him. When he got there, moved up, and they drafted by.
And what do you think about the 2 tires? You think that's having an effect on Mark's car?
Well, it will now. From now on, it will. I mean, in the first 10 laps, 15 laps, it really won't. But you know, the BP, the thing about it is, guys like Junior and these guys, you got to always be looking in the mirror. You got to be looking for that guy that's coming at you to make a pass that's got a lot of momentum. You want to drive in front of him, because if you can drive in front of him and get that push, that's going to win you this race.
And not too far back in this pack, you'll find the 24 car, Jeff Gordon. So he's among the leaders. Let's take you through the field. Dave Burns.
And Bill, one of the most important people on a team is the spotter for these drivers. He's the eye in the sky that helps him make those daring moves at the end of this race. Well, Brian Spotter is new to him this year, but he's a veteran spotter. His name is Chuck Joyce, and he's a family friend from years back when they used to go on vacation together. Brian said, I trust him, but we haven't worked together a lot. We'll see how well they work together at the end of the 500. Matt?
Almost 3 wide, Dave, at the front, with Junior on the bottom, Johnson in the middle, and the 25 up high. Now, it's not surprising that Junior pulled in front of the 6. That was one of the conversations they talked about. Now Junior dives up high, says the car a little on the tight side, trying to maybe throw a block on the 5. Can't do it, AB.
Jimmy Johnson's team continues to work at this car. Little bits and pieces of adjustments on every pit stop. Still, Johnson struggling with front end grip on the car, even when he's out in front and getting all the airflow over the nose of the machine. Dave?
Kyle Busch working well together with others, especially his teammates. On that last stop, his car was good enough that they didn't want to make any changes. He believes now that it's good enough to race. Look at him hook up with his other 2 teammates. Marty?
Mark Martin has had a tight race car for most of the afternoon. Those 2 tires we talked about starting to show now. Mark's in the cars going away handling-wise just a little bit, trying to keep it on the bottom line and keep it in that front pack, Dave.
Kurt Busch has won at least 1 race every year since actually starting last year. He's on a streak right now, looking for his first Daytona 500 win. Again, running very well here, looking to the inside of Mark Martin.
And his teammate, the 12, Ryan Newman, trying to get up with the 2 as a drafting partner. Mark Martin pulls down in front. Newman's been fighting riding a tight condition and a vibration most of the afternoon. He feels like it's more of an aero-tight condition. And what about Reed Sorensen? Very impressive day in the high line right now on the outside of the 22. He was planning on trying to stay on the bottom most of the day like he did in his qualifying race, where he had a successful day there as well. But right now he's up high with the 26. Dave
Blaney has had trouble with his car turning all day. That tight condition, he's been reporting it to his team. They've been working on it. It's the best it's been all day. Blaney now in the 22 in a team that's won here before, working his way to the front. Marty.
Well, Jamie McMurray has a handful, Dave, in that 26 purple car right there beside the 55 of Michael Waltrip. The car is loose, which means that back end wants to kick around. But when it's like that, it's fast. Jamie back up in the high line, trying to make his way back to the front. Matt.
The two-time 500 winner, Michael Waltrip, on the inside in the Bill Davis Napa number 55 Dodge. Hung in the back earlier, now trying to make his presence known, slowly working his way up, but he's got it. The 43, Bobby Labonte, trying to dive on the inside, who's taken over the 43 this year. Labonte's car, no changes on their last stop.
Hey guys, look who's creeping up the running order. Jeff Gordon, the defending 500 winner. The transmission's holding on. They worked on the toe out and the steering the last couple of times they've been on pit road. Jeff reporting just a little bit ago on the radio. Car's not bad right now. That could be bad news for everybody else. Matt?
Biffle said earlier the car was handling beautifully. Then he had the issues on the right side. Now he's on the outside. Talking about what adjustments to make on their last stop. They tried the two tires earlier, and their tire wear was excellent, Marty.
Well, Matt, back there in that white and green car, the 14 of Sterling Marlin, a two-time Daytona 500 winner. This is a backup car, and Sterling lurking in the field on their last four stops. They've made no changes to that car. Dave?
Casey Kane is running conservatively up front. He'd like to race more aggressively at the end of the race. He's been staying mid to front pack most of the afternoon. We'll see what happens later on. Matt?
And Kenny Schrader taking over the 21 from Ricky Rudd, who finished second a couple times, but never got that win with the Wood brothers. Hoping for a win with that famous car this year. He's battling weather issues. The car just tight. Meanwhile, David Stremme, who's also new in the 40 car this year, battling for Rookie of the Year honors, having a very solid day. You can see a lot of cosmetic tape on the front of that car. Snyder?
Well, Matt, remember earlier, Elliott Sadler was fast and up front of the field, and now he's not so fast. The car too tight for Elliott Sadler. He said the car will not run the bottom of the racetrack at all. He has to run high to carry the momentum that he needs. Dave?
Casey Mears thinks he can contend at the end, but his car just has a little trouble turning. His team made a track bar and air pressure adjustment last time to adjust that chassis to try to make it more racy for Casey.
That's easy for you to say, Dave.
Good line, Dave. The 20 of Tony Stewart runs in 28th position. There are 36 cars on the lead lap. Carl Edwards is the first car officially retired from the race. 42 cars still in competition. Brian Vickers out front in the Daytona 500. Just 50 laps to go.